since this is a Republican seat, the party affiliation of each of the candidates. Bear in mind that the election commission's records are open. They are.
Thank you. Who would like to answer that?
I am a registered Republican, but I will say this, I do vote the issues.
I'm currently a registered Republican as well.
Okay. I am a registered Democrat, but I have to agree with Laura here. I vote the issue, not the party. It's the person and how they believe, not necessarily what the party believes.
I'm a registered Republican.
I believe my record will reflect I voted in every Republican primary.
I'm a Republican.
I'm not really so much for the party. I'd be a Republican. I'm more for the person.
Well, some of my friends are Republicans and some of my friends are Democrats, and I'm for my friends.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm a Republican. I've ran Republican in 2 different primaries. Thank you.
I'm very proud to be a Republican, but I'm an American first, and I think the only way we're going to get anything done is if we work together regardless of what our affiliation is.
First of all, I'd like to say cooperation and communication are key to success, but I am a registered Republican.
Next question.
I've got it. My name is Warren Mackey. I chair the Educational Committee for the Commission. Hamilton County is on the verge, as you well know, of a lot of growth. We've gone to places like Columbia, Murfreesboro, Greenville, South Carolina, where automobile companies have gone. We know there's a lot of growth coming. And when you look at our community, if you were to take Highway 58, Highway 153, Interstate 75, and the Bradley County line, all of our elementary schools are full. When we built Signal, we spent $45 million. We built East Hamilton, $43 million. My question for anyone, inasmuch as the schools are full, how are you going to stay in budget and build new schools? We don't want those kids going to live in Bradley County nor in North Georgia. What are you going to do?
Who wants to take that?
Well, that's a real good question, and probably one of the most difficult that y'all are going to have to deal with. It's not going to be free, and it's not going to be cheap. There are several options that are open, but all of those options mean that we, the people, are going to have to pay more. If we want the quality of education for our children that all of these folks have talked about, wanting to draw new jobs and everything into our community, we've got to have the educational base. And to do that, we have to pay for it. Now, y'all would know more if there are areas in the budget that could be trimmed to help provide that. But it also means that the folks who are out here are going to have to put over their money too to provide that. Does that mean a tax increase? I don't know that. But that is a possibility. And to say otherwise would not be telling the truth, because how are you going to raise the money? You have to do it within the community, within the county. We all have to pay our part of it. It might mean that the taxes go up a little bit. And I know that's not something that's very popular to say, but if we're going to maintain the quality of our education system, we have got to pay for it. And we are the people, the bosses, we're the bosses, and we're going to have to spend the money to maintain that education system.
Anyone else?
One thing, and you're right, Commissioner Mackey, it was really astonishing to me when East Hamilton and then Signal Mountain were both built, they were already over capacity. One thing that we've got that Hamilton County is very, very blessed with is we do have these larger corporations coming in and existing companies such as Alstom, LJT, that have expanded. Those expansions, and I do not have the paperwork with me, so I'm going to talk in somewhat of generalities, but I think you can see where I'm going from. They were given some tax incentives, some financial breaks, some financial incentives. But one thing that they all have to do is they still have to pay towards the school system. We need to use those funds that are coming in a smart, as I said, smart growth, in a smart way. Look at the study of the population. I know the census is going to do a little bit of changing, especially without in the Ooltewah, Collegedale, that area in the upcoming months and years. Where are the people moving? What do we have to do? What do we got? Because we are going to have to build these new schools. We don't know. I was with some of the teams that did go to the Greenville and it was with the chamber individuals and the chamber officials. I don't know, and I don't think any of us really do. We've seen it maybe in Greenville and in Smyrna. What's going to happen to this town? This town is going to explode. It's going to explode in a good way, but we have to make sure we've got the infrastructure there. And one of the main things with infrastructure is what I say is the education of our students, of our children, because again, once again, they are the future of Hamilton County. They are the future of our workforce, and we are going to have to dedicate a study and allocation of funds to either increase the schools that we currently have, refurbish them, and build new ones where the population growth is happening.
Dr. Sheriff,
Yes.
do we have each of the candidates to please mention their name when they ask the question? And I don't know if all of them are going to do it, but this is a very important question. And Commissioner Beck leaned over and whispered to me. I think it would be good if all of the candidates made a short response.
All right, that'd be fine. Let's start right over there.
Sure to give you that. Sean Rogers. In the education aspect, I actually believe instead of spending money in studies outside this county, I think we ought to spend the money on the study where we're going wrong in this county. If we hold the money here and we look at what we've either had mistakes with, something that maybe we thought was going to work and maybe didn't work, look at it that way. Again, as Mrs. Shipley stated, we are going to have a population boom probably within the next year and a half. And see where that's going to take us. To be perfectly honest, it's a hard question to answer. Being able to keep it here, though, is I think where we need to keep the money.
My name is George Patton. I am very familiar with East Hamilton, with the Ooltewah schools. That Ooltewah High School, as soon as East Hamilton opened, a lot of those students went to East Hamilton, but Ooltewah High School was filled up again. Given the general fund that the county has, we're not going to take $45 million out of that fund and put it into a school. We'd probably have to look at a bond issue. I think one of the other things that we can look at as short term, the curriculum of the schools, which we don't have a whole lot to say about the curriculum of the schools, but we have the magnet school programs are pulling students into other school areas. Various different curriculum programs are bringing students from one area to the other, and we have schools that are open that can attract this. So I think that short-term wise, we have to look at the curriculum as an alternative to the pressing need of new schools.
I'm Mitch McClure. I think George hit a portion of the answer. I think there is an open window of some bond money that can be used to build some schools. I think there needs to be efficient use of what we have. We may need to combine some schools. We may need to take and do some building of new schools and consolidate them. In this district, in the 3rd district, you have this school, which is a great school, but yet you have schools like Hixson Middle Valley, which is in desperate need of replacement in so many ways, and we have other needs. So it's a perplexing problem. Is it going to require a tax increase? I think that's the question that people are wanting to hear an answer of, and I don't know the answer to that until you do. You reduce in every way that you can, and then you look to find those efficiencies and then build to suit where the growth is my opinion.
Yeah. David Howe from Lakeside. Obviously, education is the most important issue in my opinion, for the County Commission. Almost 59% of the budget, if I'm not mistaken, is allocated for that. And, you know, my mom spent 25 years teaching in these schools, and I understand the importance of good education. And with the growth that we're having and the companies that are coming in, if we don't have a good educated team of young people that are able to step up and take these jobs, these are not going to attract these businesses that we've got. We're not going to be able to hold on to what we have, and we're not going to be able to attract new ones. And so definitely, I don't think throwing more money at a problem always fixes the problem, but I think we need to look at efficiency. If you have two schools that are close to each other that are inefficient, and you can put them together and make a more efficient school, that's definitely something that you could look at to cut costs. But I definitely think we need to take care of the children before we take care of any adults.
I'm Jerry Hass. I didn't go to school here in Hamilton County. I went to UC back when it was UC a little bit. But as far as the schools, I think maybe it's a possibility that a bond issue, maybe some combining. And when I was going around today interviewing some of the commissioners, I got a little education, and it sounds to me like one place to start looking is the administration seems to be top heavy. Now, I may be stepping on some toes here, but where I went to school, my principal, we had grades 1 through 12 out in the country. And we probably had 600 or so students. It wasn't a big school, but I was absolutely amazed when I found out that Hixson High School here has 4 assistant principals. My principal only had him. He had no assistants. So I think that would be one place that I would look first. I know that wouldn't save enough money, but then there may be a tax increase needed.
I'm Wayne Hamill. I'd like to ask a question. How many people that are sitting here this evening are willing to pay additional taxes to improve the situations of the schools? Would you raise your hands? I think that's a good indicator. We all recognize that schools have to be taken care of, but we as a public feel like we've been taxed so much with education. I know there's got to be flexibility. I know we've got to have education. I'm not trying to take a backdoor to that. I'll give you a little history and I'll try to answer the question. In the 70s, I worked for the county off Ashmore Avenue, and at that time we had a Hamilton County school system as well as all the buildings we did maintenance on. Some of the things I worked on were boilers, electrical, a variety of different things. The cure for boilers at that time, cow manure. Cow manure to keep a boiler from leaking. That was used often. Of course, it reduces the efficiency of the boiler, but it worked and it got us by. The schools, as Chester knows, have been in horrible condition. The electrical wiring, the plumbing, variety. They're old, they're falling down. They're in bad, deplorable, bad shape. There is no easy quick fix. I've heard people talk about bond issues. All I know is that I commend the Board of Education for what they've done. I look at this school, I think this, my memory serves me right, about 33 million plus or minus. Red Bank's about, to give one in a similar area of the same dollar amount, I believe, maybe a little higher. But I do not have, and I'll be honest with you, I do not have a quick fix for this, and I'm sure the legislative body knows there's no quick fix. Perhaps bond issues are the answer, but do we continue to put our county in debt for our children and our grandchildren? I'm sorry, on this one I absolutely have no complete answer. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Terry Conley, and I really don't have an answer. I have watched the county commission, ex-mayor Claude Ramsey, step forward and getting infrastructure in here, and I'm hoping we can do it again with the help of our new mayor, Jim Coppinger. We need to, I'm thinking of looking at, open up our waterways, go to our federal government and open up the locks like we was promised, get some waterways going for more infrastructure. As far as people talking about taxes and stuff, I'm really not a tax person, but you know, you can never say never to something that comes before your kids and your grandkids. You have to step up to the plate and do what you've got to do to help them. That's really all I know. I can't get into it a whole lot because I don't know that much about it. I'm not on the county commission seat. I hope to be where I can learn more and help this district out more. Thank you.
Well, that's a very complex question, and it's one I know you all have already been wrestling with. I wish I had an answer. I wish somebody in this room had a simplified answer for it. It would make everything a lot simpler. When I'm doing a budget at work, and we're sitting down and I'm scratching my head, because I'm just a simple guy, folks. I'm not too bright all the time, but I'm reasonably intelligent. I do know one thing. You go to the people that know. We've got 8 commissioners. Whoever it is who's fortunate enough to come into this seat is going to be relying on these shoulders, not to say, hey, I need your answer. I need to have your answer so I know how to answer it. You've got 8 people collectively that are already working with the issue. You've got an entire staff in the community, whether it be county government, whether it be city government. You've got experts in the field of accounting. You've got experts in our industry. For Pete's sake, we've got Volkswagen. You think they won't be happy to have some input on what they think we should do with our systems? I think you draw on the experts. One person, I think Mayor Coppinger might recognize this, one person on a fire truck doesn't have the answers to every fire. But you know who's on your truck to help get the job done. You work collectively as a team. You look at the best options. I'm not a tax man. I won't ever rule that out to say, and I don't think any politician with a bit of honesty in their heart could say, can never rule out taxes. But you try everything you can before that. But you go to the experts, you go to the people that actually work in that industry, in that field, you go to the city accountant and the county accountants, and you look at the numbers, and you actually look at what makes sense. It's a hard question. Terry said it best. You don't put anything before your children. I don't have any children, but I do know that all your children will be taking care of me one day, so I would like them to be educated and have a good system to work with. Volkswagen, Holstead, any company, yes, they want a qualified workforce. If they can't get that from our children, they will get it from someplace. They'll bring somebody else in. So basically, I can't answer the question as to what I do minus go to the experts, sit with y'all and say, hey, you've been in this boat for a while. What are you seeing? Explain it to me. And that's about the best answer I can give y'all. Thank you.
Well, I'm Mike Baskin. It's a gut-wrenching question, and we all are really faced with some tough challenges coming up. If we're going to keep this momentum going, it's imperative that we stay ahead of the curve with regard to providing properly trained workers for current needs as well as the needs coming up. I mean, we really haven't gotten into the plant opening up at Volkswagen, and we've only scratched the surface here of providing the workforce. We've got Amazon coming and other things on the table. But all that said, with all this economic development, we're going to have some growth. So I think that there's going to be an opportunity there, potentially, for additional revenues. The companies are going to have to pay the county for education. I understand, I believe there's 15 million coming forward this year, upcoming from Volkswagen. So there's opportunities there. I think it's something we got to chip away at. And then I believe I understand that in 2012, some bonds will be retired, so there may be another opportunity. I don't think there's a single one or two or possibly three solutions to this. I think it's a combined effort looking for opportunities anywhere we can. And I know, gosh, you guys have gone through the gut-wrenching budget slicing and dicing and many, many times. So those are just some ideas. I don't think there's any foolproof answer to that.
I have a question.
Question.
I've heard Commissioner Greg Beck, I've heard a few people say something about crime, which is one of the issues I've spoken out on several times. I'm not going to ask you to have some kind of magic answer to the crime problem, but decent people are sending their children to our schools for an education, and the school zone, in some cases, have become very dangerous. Now, in order to make those schools safe, have you thought of an answer that I haven't heard before on how to make safe schools and safe neighborhoods, particularly this neighborhood in Hixson? And I'd like each one to address that, please.
And when you do, everyone, be sure to give your name, please.
Thank you, Commissioner Beck. I'm Laurie Shipley. And I did one of the things too, especially in District 3, and why I mentioned the gang problem is when I was a member of the North Shore Chamber, their council, we had a problem with tagging throughout the city. If you now go, I'm a very active member of the Sports Bar North here in Hixson, and if you go, they are now doing the streetscape improvements on Hamill Road, so you have to take a detour. Those signs, both north and south on Hixson Pike, have been tagged. I mean, it is a definite tagging. I thoroughly support Sheriff Hammond in the SROs of the schools. I think they are vital. Not only are they vital for safety, those police officers, those sheriffs, those deputies provide, and what I have seen and what I have observed, almost a mentor type program. The experts are over there. You've got, you have to work in conjunction, especially in this district, with the experts. As I said, as I grow older, I'm never afraid to ask for help. The city police department and the sheriffs, they are the experts. How do we work in tandem to make our community safer? How do we stop the violence in our schools? But again, I really am personally in favor of the SROs. I think they provide a vital service, and get that dialogue, get that creative, that strategic plan, work on it and implement it. And that's the whole thing, implement it, and when you implement it, make sure it is a feasible plan that can be implemented and will produce results. And the bottom line is safety. Safety for our students, safety for the citizens of District 3.